Yo, welcome back to Tech Jacket. Just in case you haven't seen the last video, here's a quick recap of what happened. Zack is confronted by the Geldarian soldiers. They knock him out to take him back to Geldaria. Zack then suddenly wakes up because of a giant hole that rips through the side of the ship. Conda comes running in and tells Zack that they're being attacked by Kresh forces. He then straps a taxi onto Zack's arms and sends him on his way to Geldaria. But during their scuffle, a stray bullet comes and hits Zack's taxi, allowing him to join the fight. Zack easily wipes out the Kresh and destroys their ships by throwing one of the Kresh soldiers into it. Conda is shocked by the strength that he possesses. Zack tells him that he's his only ticket back home, and although he's not in a hurry to participate in their trial, he's willing to participate if they promise that he won't be harmed. Conda tells him that much is unclear, his trial included, but he will speak on his behalf because he's seen nothing but courage and valor from him today. He surely saved his and his soldiers' lives. Conda then takes him back to Geldaria, and the Emperor tells Zack that his story does correspond with the Chronicle of the Tech Jacket. He did not murder the Geldarian that possessed it before him, and he also chose to save the lives of his captors instead of fleeing. And for that, he has his deepest gratitude. He then goes on to explain that the Geldarians made the Tech Jacket in order to compensate for their brittle bones, and their sacred decree was created in order to prevent someone as powerful as Zack from coming along. But however, these are dire times. They are at war, and thus they have great use for him. Even though it means breaking their sacred decree, one of their ranks have offered to train him if he's willing to aid them. We then get a little history on the Kresh, letting us know that the Kresh is mainly made out of gas, because their homeworld atmosphere was so dense that when they left, their bodies would just dissipate. So to prevent this, they built suits, and these suits have multiple weaknesses that allow them to be incapacitated immediately. After the lesson, we cut to a month later as Conda trains Zack. He dodges a bunch of lasers and disables them before Conda tells him that he thinks he's ready. We then cut to a battleship with Conda. He tells his fellow Geldarians and Zack that they're approaching the moon base. Prepare for battle. They then deploy onto the moon base, and once again Zack blows right through their forces. It's a short fight before they decide that Zack is too much for them, so they retreat. The Geldarians celebrate while Zack hopes that all fights will be this easy. After their battle, Zack is rewarded with the Crest of Geldaria, their highest battle honor. That's when he notices the Geldarian princess staring daggers at him. So he asks Conda, who is she? He tells him that her name is Lyn. She's the monarch's daughter. Why does he ask? He tells him that she's been staring at him all ceremony, and he tells Zack that he's the topic of many conversations. He should be used to the popularity by now. After the ceremony, Zack walks towards the laboratory and he's stopped by the Geldarian princess, who wishes him luck on his next mission. He's confused on how she knows about his mission when he doesn't even know. He's on his way to find out right now. She tells him that even though she's not able to participate in their war effort, she does enough spying on her dad to make up for it. She then gives him a smooch on the cheek and wishes him luck. When Zack enters the laboratory, they explain to him that they have a working one-way teleporter that will teleport him right into the Kresh hideout. He can move through their stronghold at lightning speed and cause as much damage as possible. He can destroy any and all defenses, allowing them to destroy the rest of the base once he's finished. He then tells them that the mission is in the final stages of preparation. They can execute it as soon as tomorrow. Zack announces that tomorrow is good. When the next day comes around, Zack arrives early and they get the portal up and running. Zack goes through the portal and falls out, landing on his butt. He hopes nobody heard that. He then walks around for a little bit before he's eventually ambushed by thousands of Kresh soldiers. Now that we got the recap out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the video. This issue starts off with Zack surrounded by the Kresh. He jokingly asks if they can give him directions to the nearest exit. They don't take too kindly to his joke and begin to rush him. He vaults over one of them and punches his head off, saying, "I guess not." He then makes another witty remark before flying away. They all rush him at the same time and create a giant hole leading into the core of the ship. Zack crashes down onto the floor and the Kresh soldiers begin to pile on top of him, so he lets off an AoE explosion. They quickly begin to surround him again before he forms a whole bunch of cannons all over his body. He says to himself that he only has one attempt to try this, so he better make it count. Zack fires his cannons, and this causes the entire command ship to be destroyed. He floats in the debris that was left behind and says to himself, those guys weren't so tough. Now how is he going to get back to Geldaria? His Tech Jacket hears his request and conveniently starts navigating him back towards Geldaria. When he arrives, he notices that Geldaria is overrun with Kresh forces. They must have attacked when they detected his presence on their command ship. Zack immediately leaps into action, assisting the other Geldarians. Once he clears out the Kresh, he tells the Geldarians to follow him. He needs help getting close to their warships. As they approach the warship, one of the Geldarians gets murked, so Zack demands that they fall back. They're not strong enough to survive this. He then grabs onto one of the ships and puts his thrusters at full speed, so that he can smash the ships together to get rid of the majority of them. Zack then spots a Geldarian fending off a Kresh soldier, so he snatches him out the sky and smashes him into the ground. But then suddenly, that's when the Kresh brings out their heavy armor. They then begin to shoot at a woman and her baby, but Zack is quick to protect them. He tells her to take cover, he'll take care of these guys. They begin to close in on Zack, so he tells the woman to run, he'll protect her. He fends them off for for a while, but during the assault, one of the Kresh blows up a rock, causing it to fall on top of the woman, killing her and her baby. Zack shouts, "No! You monsters!" He then begins to attack them, demolishing every single one of them. And in his rage, he pummels the last guy over and over and over again, until the Emperor stops him and tells him that it's over. We cut to a ceremony with the Emperor telling everyone that it's over. The times ahead will be difficult, but if they work together, he is sure they can bring an era of infinite peace and prosperity. But for now, they must focus on the task of rebuilding their cities and burying their dead. This is indeed a time to rejoice. Their fallen brethren would not want to see it wasted on the morning of their passing. They fought and died for a chance at peace, something this planet has not known for centuries, and their sacrifices will be remembered forever. As Zack prepares to go home, he asks, "Really? He can keep it?" The Emperor tells him yes. The process for removing the tech jacket is so painful that he's doubtful that he would even survive it. Also, him above all others have earned the right to use the tech jacket. If not for him, their war on the Kresh would not have ended in their favor, or even ended at all. But it is very important that he understands the burden of his power. He will be in possession of a weapon that is far more powerful than any weapon on his planet. Use it wisely and never for ill gain. Zack tells him that he can trust him. The Emperor doesn't doubt it at all. They've arranged for his transport because he's been far away from home far too long, and Konda will be returning him immediately. Zack says immediately, but what about rebuilding the city? He tells him that he's done more than enough. His place isn't here. They can't keep him any longer. Zack can't really argue with that. Plus, it'd be nice to see his parents again. Before he enters the ship, he tells them that if they need anything, they know where to find him. The Emperor says, "Farewell, brave one. You will be missed. Now come, there's much to be done." Before they walk away, the princess gives Zack's transport ship a longing gaze. 1 week later, Konda tells Zack that they are approaching Earth now. Zack says, "And not a week too soon. I'll tell you, I don't remember it taking this long to get to Gelderia." But of course, he was knocked out for most of the trip. Konda apologizes to Zack and tells him that it was part of procedure. Zack tells him not to sweat it. It was a long time ago. Plus, he thought he was a murderer. Konda says fair enough. Now, how far does he want him to take him? He tells Konda that he can fly himself from here. They say their final goodbyes before Zack takes off for Earth. Zack lands at the same spot he was taken from and excitedly rushes back to his house. As he opens the front gate, he says to himself that he can't believe that he's home. He hopes that he doesn't give his mom a heart attack. He retrieves the key that he left under his plant and opens the door, only to find out that his mom and dad are gone. And that does it for the end of Tech Jacket issue 4. This issue is very action-packed and I loved it. I can't wait to see how Zack improves and gets stronger in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.